Hey, I'm Chris Fraser, and I'm creating this video because I'm a child and family therapist. And during quarantine, I know parents around the world are really struggling. All the clients I've been meeting with, I see about 30 a week, children and their families, and folks are struggling. So I thought I'd reach out to let you know there's a couple of things we can do. First of all, is just understand that in these times where we are quarantined, we are under a high level of threat. We're cooped up with each other. The usual stressors, that we have are just all amplified. And right now, everyone's struggling. You're not alone. You're not the only one who's losing it emotionally, and sometimes really, really in ways that you're not proud of. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is a little wisdom from compassion-focused therapy and some neuroscience. Compassion-focused therapy talks about there being three emotional regulation systems: threat, drive, and soothe. And right now, our threat system is our safety, protect system, keep ourselves safe, keep our children safe. You think about it, the number one rule for all human beings is don't die, stay alive, and keep your children alive, no matter what. That goes first. And right now with coronavirus, we are all on high threat, high alert. Now the other system is drive system, and that's the system where we, have to be motivated to, survive, get food, find something to eat, shelter, but also fun stuff. This is our pleasure. It's like going out dancing, going to the gym, playing sports, those type of things. And the soothe system is the soothe, rest, and digest. Every single one of us needs time to recuperate. You think about animals watching the specials on TV with the big cats in Africa. The lion makes a kill. It does not run off again immediately. It rests and digests. And right now, we're all in super high threat. And so when our children are asking us for the 10th time, how do I get back on the Wi-Fi? We snap and go, I told you, I'm in a meeting. So the first thing to know is you're not alone. If you've been losing it, I'm a therapist. I have a child. I've been struggling myself at times. The first thing we need to do is, one, name it. When you start losing it, just name it. It's like getting drunk. It's like, I'm drunk on emotion. I got to be careful. And that is really hard to do when you got a kid going in front of you like, oh yeah, don't do it again. I did it again. What you gonna do? And you're like, ah. So name it. I'm really mad. That's mindfulness. Noticing you're about to lose it. And in that moment, you have a little choice point. And Viktor Frankl, the father of logotherapy, meaning therapy, a survivor of the concentration camps, he wrote Man's Search for Meaning, said, between stimulus and response, there's a space. And in that space is our freedom and power to choose. It's hard to find that space when you are losing it. So just being able to name it, that's mindfulness. Man, but it's really hard because everything is going to want to make you act quickly. Slow it down. Name it. Slow your breathing down. If you can just catch one breath. When we're really mad, we breathe from our upper chest. Our IQ goes down because you're not supposed to think great thoughts, when you're in threat. When you're about to get eaten by something, you're not supposed to be able to do long division. You're supposed to just react. And our children, we love them, but they can fire us up just like that beast attacking us. So soothe it. Really extend the exhale. Long exhale. Double your exhale. If your inhale's 3, out 6. Slow it down, and just, even if you close your eyes, your child might be going, why are you closing your eyes? That's, you look stupid. They're trying to catch you. Slow it down. Soothe it. And then you have that window. You have more traction. When you slow your breathing down, you have a little more traction. You have a little more space to choose. And then when you choose, even if you already started to lose it, you have a choice to begin, like the little sign behind it, to begin again with compassion, kindness, with wisdom, with that kind of parent you want to be. So training yourself to soothe it, move it. All right. The hard part is when you is the first step, is catching yourself. And a lot of times you'll run the red light and crash into an emotional situation. So yeah, we're supposed to name it, soothe it, and move it, but that initial space is so hard to find. So what I want you to be training for is when you get up in the morning, is to really set the intention. How do I want to be? I do this with athletes. I coach, but I've also worked with athletes as well, and it's called mental rehearsal. It's rehearsing before you get out of bed in compassion focused therapy. It's like, becoming a compassionate self under the duvet, under the comforter, before you even get up. You open your eyes, and usually all the to-dos of the day show up. We're going to take a deep breath, slow ourselves down. How do I want to show up today as a parent? Patient, playful, kind, understanding, having boundaries, but ones that are flexible as well when they need to be. See yourself, imagine yourself, even recuperating from mistakes. Mental rehearsal isn't about rehearsing perfectly. With athletes and parents, I say, imagine that time when you're about to lose it in sports where you miss the shot. Instead of dropping your head, getting the head up and beginning again. Starting again, because that next moment is the most important moment. In sports, the next play is always the most important play. And in parenting, starting again, how you want to be. Then after lunch, a lot of times midday, check in again. How do I want to be? Even changing your body posture a little bit. How do I want to be? Thinking about how do you want to be as a parent. Even if you had a rough morning, how do you want to be? Start again. That's mindfulness. Checking in with yourself. Getting your compass back. Where's my true north? Somebody else's north might be here. Yours is right here. How do I want to be? Spend some time thinking about how you want to be. Because when you set an intention, it means it's more likely for you to be able to move towards that. And when you fall off the wagon and you flip out or you're really struggling, you begin again. And you begin with kindness. Because think about it. After you really screw up, and yell and scream or break something or do something that you're really not proud of. If I said these words to you, hey, it's okay. You're whole, complete, and perfect just as you are. So think about it. Even I can think of a situation just recently in my family where I just went, oh, the mind is a crap magnet. It will notice the negative because the negatives in primitive time could eat you, and we have the same number of fingers and toes as those folks. All of us around the world, we have the same number of fingers and toes as those first early people. And so therefore, when we screw up, that negative's going to come up, and we're going to want to attack ourselves, just like we'd attack that lion we couldn't get away from. And then we attack ourselves. And when we attack ourselves and say, I'm a horrible parent, I can't believe I did that, I'm so stupid, you're releasing cortisol into your bloodstream because cortisol is the fear hormone, stress hormone, and you're attacking yourself. And the mind gets tricked quite a bit by thoughts as facts. And pretty soon, we're flooded, and then we're fall into the cycle again. We self-correct better with compassion, care, and encouragement than we do criticism and ridicule. So it takes some practice. So I'm asking you to do these things imperfectly because we're all imperfect. These are just suggestions. We're in this corona thing. This is new. We've never been this cooped up for this long and with this level of threat. At least maybe most of us in our lifetime. Our ancestors before, oh yeah, they're resilient. They've gone through many things like this before. You name it, throughout the centuries. But if you can keep going back to catching yourself mindfully, having a moment, a space between stimulus and response, there's that space. And that's your freedom to choose. And then starting again. Starting again. And if you've run the red light, no space, start again with kindness, with encouragement. Talking to yourself like a dear friend or someone who really loves you. It takes practice. It takes practice. It's pouring courage into you as a parent so you can start again. And there's going to be ruptures in relationships, and your kids are going to see those throughout their life. But they see you apologizing and starting again. It's okay to apologize to your kids and let them know because it shows them that you're imperfect. And then it takes the pressure off them to be perfect and think they need to be later in life. They can have a growth mindset. Hey, mom and dad are imperfect. They learn. They can apologize. They can tell you, hey, I'm going to do the best I can. I lost it. And I'm going to try to slow down and, catch myself before I explode. And kids have needs too that are not being met right now. A lot of their, just like you as an adult, like I said, that drive system, those things a lot of us used to use to deal with the threats. I used to go to the gym all the time, and now I'm missing my gym buddies and that release, and other people have theirs. So we need to be patient and calm and caring and compassionate with ourselves. You can't shame yourself into being a better person, and especially a better parent. Parenting is one of the most beautiful things in the world, but it's one of the most challenging. And it's a great teacher, and it's humbling. So if you take a second, I'm going to give you one takeaway here today besides what I've already said. This takeaway is a little imagery, a little mental rehearsal I was talking about. So take a moment to reflect back on a situation where you were struggling recently with your child. Now imagine if everything could stop, like if time could just freeze right before it hit the explosion part. So see that in your mind. Now imagine that somebody could say your name, hey, and you turn, or maybe if you're at home, somebody rings the doorbell, and you go there, and there's you at your best, your compassionate best, your most patient, kind, loving, and wise self. And they step out and they say, hey, I'm here to help you. I see you're struggling. It's not your fault. Everybody's struggling in this world right now. And they say, hey, I'm going to step into your body. I'm going to take over. I'm going to drive. They give you a hug. You can feel it. And then you enter back into that situation as your best self with that moment. And just imagine what you'd do differently. Take a second. Imagine what you'd do differently. What you would say, what you wouldn't say. Your facial expression. Tone of voice. And notice how that would feel to be supported and have that part of you in the driver's seat. Imagine afterwards that part of you steps back out of you, and you get to see that part because we all have it on the outside, and you look at it and you're like, damn, I look good. No. Yeah, but you actually go, wow. And they say to you, hey, I'm always here, but I'm in between stimulus and response, and I'm in that space. We all have this in us, and if we water it, it'll grow, but it takes practice. So during this time, if we could all practice together, starting our day with how we want to show up, learning how to name it, so we know we're drunk on emotion, soothe it, slow the breathing down, slow the body down, and then move it as our best self. And then at the end of the day, giving ourselves some affirmation, like, hey, even if I screwed up, go for that place that you succeeded, even just a little bit. The mind's a crap magnet. It'll kick your butt. But go for that piece like, hey, you know what? I did really nicely supporting my child today, even though they spilled their milk and basically looked at me and said, oopsie. Think about, what did I do today as a parent that I am proud of? And even if it's small. And before you go to bed, I want you to say that to you. Remind yourself of that, a little review of your day. And with your child, same thing. If your children are younger, go into their, even if it was a rough day, I want you to think about one thing that was magical, special, that they did. Even if they put icy hot on the cat's nose, and even if they, put a banana in your subwoofer and your speaker. Go back to that one thing that was beautiful. Because when children go to sleep, there is a little window, like 45 minutes, sometimes smaller when they're not moving, mostly smaller. And tell them, hey, drop a little seed into their unconscious mind before they go to sleep. Hey, and get specific. I really want to tell you, I'm really, really proud of you for sharing that cookie with your sister. I know you didn't want to share. That showed such kindness and self-control. That was so beautiful. I love you. And plant that seed in their little mind before they go to bed, even if it was hell all day long. And for yourself, the same thing. And in the morning when you wake up, you start again, you begin again. So thank you for taking a moment to listen to this. All of you around the world, we're struggling as parents, and we need compassion, and we need each other. So when you are struggling, know others are struggling. That's why I'm creating this video. And bring a bit of kindness to yourself. And enact these integrated into your life slowly. But with practice, we will be better at catching ourselves, naming it, soothing it, moving it. And when we don't, we'll have this compassionate self-correction, this ability to say, wow, I was really struggling. It makes sense I was struggling. This is really hard. Begin again. I love you. We can do this. So take care. Sending love out to everyone out there. And if you need support, always come back to your breath. It's a true home. Come back to it. It's the storm, and it's like in the storm, go back to your roots. Breathe into your trunk, and the storm of emotion will pass. Like this coronavirus, this too shall pass. Take care.